On this episode of That Kingsville Podcast, we talk Kingsville Snowstorm 2022.
Snowmageddon.
Snowmageddon was a couple of years ago, but we'll just call it Dave's foibles of...
Snowpocalypse.
Snowstorm.
Snow clone. Snownami.
Snow hurricane?
Snow hurricane.
Oh, God, I
think
love
I
these
took
guys.
that once in college.
Welcome to That Kingsville Podcast. I'm your host, Dave Hunt. With me, Kevin Black.
What's up?
Steve Ianson. February 2022. Welcome back to work, Steve. How's the appendix dealing?
It's great.
Oh, you feel lighter? You move more mobile around town?
No, I feel awful. After 6 weeks off, I've been so sore for the last 10
Soft.
days.
You're just soft.
I'm getting better.
Maybe that's the reason for it. It just helps you, with strenuous activities.
It's all the snow. If
Oh,
there's no snow, it would be so much easier.
So, gentlemen, I don't know if you saw on the Facebook. I am, you obviously didn't see, but everyone else, all 19 we have 19 viewers now or listeners to the podcast. So all 19 of you may have caught it on the Instagram, which, by the way, thank you for following the Instagram.
That's a 300% increase.
I know. Quick math on you.
Thanks.
So I'm the moron that got the snowblower out. Beginning of the season, decided, you know what, I'm going to make sure this sucker runs. So I've got a 1977 Craftsman snowblower, like it's made of metal. Like it is an actual structure. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to be good with it. It runs. I'm prepared for a snowfall. We'll be fine. So the snowfall we had a few weeks ago, just an inch or two, shoveling. No need to get out the behemoth kind of thing to handle it. I can use my muscles and be strong and take care of what needs to be taken care of. But the blizzard of 22 that happened last week, of 93,000 inches of accumulation over the course of 3 days, where children didn't have to go to school and people complain. I forgot to really test out that machine prior to this blizzard, and motor runs, but the auger, no work.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are you going to take it back?
It's a 1973.
Predates
Craftsman?
all of us.
What's that, Sears?
Sears, yeah. I would love. Oh my gosh, would I ever love? Yeah, I got a warranty claim. Yeah, sir. How old is this machine? Well, it's obviously older than me, but it's a Craftsman, and you stand behind that name. I'd have to take it back. Who owns the Craftsman name now?
Does anyone?
Lowe's.
Oh, yes.
Lowe's.
Oh, so there you go. Take it back to Lowe's. Be like, hey, some rando bought this 40 years ago from Sears.
From Sears, yeah.
The now bankrupt company.
Right.
But you have to take it back. You honor this, right?
Yeah, exactly. You stand behind your name? No. So I'm the moron. I had to pay the snowblower tax. And what I refer to the snowblower tax is you never buy a snowblower in wintertime, right? You never buy a snowblower in wintertime. But this thing, we were snowed in. We're still snowed in. Like our cul-de-sac still has snow in it. Like it's driving over it, packing it down. I'm lucky I'm here. So yeah, there was one place where I could buy a snowblower, and it was top of the line snowblower, and it was like, oh, I don't need electric start and hand warmers and.
Ooh, hand warmers.
No, it doesn't have hand warmers, but geez, it's got electric.
That a thing?
It is actually. There are multiple $1,000 machines. So I did not need this, but I did unfortunately have to buy the higher end model because everyone. You make a face.
Well, if it's going to have hand warmers, why don't they just make it a snow melter? Like just make the whole thing hot.
Like a jet engine on the end of a stick?
I don't know if well, I guess, yeah. I mean, if it's a jet engine.
If it's going to warm hands, might as well just have the whole thing heat up and melt the snow as you go.
Steve, I would like to...
I don't know how that will work.
And I'm sorry, I said the D word. I shouldn't have done that.
The D word?
What's the D word?
I said damn.
Oh,
what?
Oh,
I
sorry.
did. I'm sorry.
Sorry, this is a family program, Stephen. That is your warning.
Okay.
So anyway, I paid the...
So we've gone from G to TV 14.
Does anyone ever follow those? What are the criteria? So yeah, I paid the snowblower tax, and I'm the moron that I used it. I used it for all of an hour and 20 minutes or whatever it took to clear out my driveway from the buildup. So I'm kind of hoping that later this week we get that clipper that's supposed to come through, just so I could. Yeah. Well, your eyes got big. I know.
One more snow.
You don't even deliver the mail in the snow. It's like, it's crazy. We're gonna skip a week or two, right?
Yeah.
Right.
One day.
That's
One
real,
day.
right?
One day. Well, the kids didn't have to go to school for 3.
3 days.
3. Well, ours went on the Wednesday when it was raining, because we made a negotiation with the kids. We said, listen, snow is going to come later, and then you can go tobogganing when the snow is here. But as the rain comes, you can still go to school. So our kids they complied, and they got the 2-day off ordeal. So but they haven't gotten tobogganing yet.
Oh no.
No. Yeah. I don't know.
Well,
Internet.
Oh, I guess.
Snapchat.
We went the weekend before.
Oh, well, you have the first little
Little bit of snow. Yeah. We went out, went at Meadows Park, which it was great.
You know why? Is there's no death trees at the bottom of it.
Yeah. If you take the right, now there is a death wall, depending on how fast you get going, which could be significantly more troublesome.
Possibly.
But, I mean, cement, I don't know which is more forgiving, the roundness of the tree or the cement wall, but it was fun. It was a good time. I never even thought of going there. There's a little bench at the top, just kind of sat, watched the kids do their thing.
Gazebo, it's tranquil. Steve,
Yeah.
you've been to Meadows
Oh
Park.
yeah. We've used that a few times.
It's the park of choice. Right, it's the connoisseur of tobogganing. Yes, we're not going to Lakeside Park with all the plebeians. Let's go to Meadows.
Well, considering we're in such a flat area, there really are some good places to toboggan. Couple parks, Kingsville Public School.
Oh, well, I wouldn't go as far as say good. I mean, there are places that the sled will go down a hill.
Sorry, Mimi. Not all of us are from Canadian
I said
Shield.
by comparison, considering how flat we are.
Not all of us are from the Shield, right? Not all of us grew up with like a logging chainsaw in our crib, right? Like,
Well, honestly, though, it's like a good toboggan run was like 2.5, 3 minutes.
yeah, you
like,
need a
here's, like,
chairlift to
10
get back
seconds.
to the top.
gonna
Well,
say.
yeah, like who wants to do that much work? You go down twice and be like, Mom, I need to go pee.
I used to have a GT snow racer,
As we
We've
all
got
did.
two.
as everyone did.
Do you
And
still?
Yeah,
Vintage?
my in-laws had them. So
They
once the
still
kids got a little bigger, we got them from there, and yeah.
They still sell them.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they're the look to be the original design.
You mean you don't get them from like the kids who forgot them at school and then they just end up being like free range GT snow racers?
They just
I mean,
hang
ours
out.
probably about the same age as your snowblower, but
Probably
It's
the
a
original.
Craftsman too.
It is Craftsman GT snow racer.
If it was Mastercraft, you could just take it back. You don't even need a receipt.
Oh, Canadian Tire.
Yeah.
Golly. That Kingsville podcast is proudly presented by Kingsville Brewery. They want to remind you that Tap House Trivia is back at the Tap House in downtown Kingsville. Thursdays at 7:30. Call to reserve your spot at 519-712-8884, extension 1. I'd also like to thank them for providing us with this wonderful merch. Stop by the Tap House because they've just released a whole bunch of new hats and sweatshirts and t-shirts and whatnot. So thank you, Kingsville Brewery, for sponsoring that Kingsville podcast. Go buy yourself a wonderful 2K. Listeners and viewers, we reached out to MP Chris Lewis of Essex. Unfortunately, they had a vote in the that he had to attend tonight. We asked him to come on the show with us, and it was looking very hopeful up until earlier today. But we wanted to discuss the changes in the PC party and local impacts at what that might look like for Essex. Chris just got elected in 2019. So he's a couple years into his term, and now with new leadership, there's a few individuals within
Well, he was
the
just
party.
reelected.
He was.
Yes.
Apologize. You're correct. He was just reelected. I apologize. Jeez.
We
Right.
just
we
had
just
an
had the
election.
Fed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got to hear him on Justin Trudeau liberal thought train. But yeah, right. So now he's second term. It was 19 was the first, and we can't really call it terms in Canada because there's no defined.
I think
Time
that is what it's called.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so you could have
it.
like a
That's what it
6-month
is.
term.
Yeah,
Anyway.
you can. Well, you're like whatever Kim Campbell had as prime minister.
Yeah.
That was still a term.
18 minutes.
Yeah, but Chris has indicated that he would be happy to come on a future episode. So
Yeah.
we will stay in touch and hopefully have him on in the near future.
Yeah.
Well, and hopefully to talk about his private members bill that he's going to be introducing, which is basically, and Steve, I know you have the text Do you want to surmise it?
No. On the spot.
It's a lot of
so basically
politicalese and legalese that.
And correct me, please, Steve, if I'm wrong, but it boils down to allowing tradespeople to be able to write off expenses if they're out of town and they haven't been able to write them off in other ways yet.
Right. At least if they reside at least more than 120 kilometers away from where their place of work.
Right.
So,
which is
that was brought forward just today.
For some tradespeople, that is a pretty common thing, and if it's not covered by your employer, then that's if you're self-employed, that's probably a great way to be able to get some cash back. So we'll see what happens. Private members' bills are always you never know. Yeah, like if you're not in the governing party, like poor Brian Massey, he put forward the sports betting bill. I want to say 5 times, Steve.
Oh.
He lost it because of 2 elections, and then the one time the Senate just said no. Like it actually passed, and I think the Conservatives backed it. I think Stephen Harper's Conservative Party backed that bill the one time, and so it got voted through weirdly as an opposition private members bill, and then it died in the Senate because the Senate's like, you know what, no, we're not gonna do this one unelected body.
Maybe not. Well, I'm when did that first get presented or written? Like early 2000s.
Yeah.
That's a good bet.
Thank you, sir.
But he really took a gamble bringing that forward.
There's gonna be at least 4, Gary. So just keep your finger.
One more for the trifecta.
Nope. I'd be willing to bet. I got nothing else.
He was just pokering around and thought, this looks good.
You're really rolling the dice with that one. I don't know.
This is why you stay to hour 32 of that Kingsville podcast.
Yeah.
Well, we got.
We're really obnoxious at the beginning, and then we get.
Worse.
Some people cherish this.
Remember when we had 19 listeners?
Oh, that went away real quick.
Yeah.
I was going to quit my job. I was going to do this full time. Oh, yeah. All my high school ambitions would have come to fruition. I was supposed to be a radio DJ like Kevin.
Yeah.
No, none of us.
You made the right choice.
None of us are in radio. Oy. Wow. Yeah, we're so around Kingsville, around downtown, we're able to get out and go back to restaurants because the conditions or the lockdown of 38th time has changed and we can go back. But I've noticed some definite changes this time, and I apologize. I don't necessarily go down there when I can't visit the establishments, so it was a bit of a shock to walk Main Street and see vacancies. Now, one was major. One was well foreknown and indicated. The Grove Brewery moved.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right.
But it's weird to see that building empty, right? Because
it's been a pretty major piece of
enormous.
Downtown for the last few years.
Enormous. They were the first established big brewery in the downtown core, and Kingsville. Thank you, Kingsville Brewery, for sponsoring that Kingsville podcast. And the Banded Goose, they both have their establishments, but the Grove was the most identifiable with the hotel renovation and the attached brewery. But on their social media, they showed all of the tank house getting removed and all the restaurant getting taken out, and eventually, I'm sure most of that will reappear on Weigel when they reopen, hopefully in the next month or so, as they've communicated. But it's just weird to see that building without that sign. And all the tanks in the windows. We took a look through, and just as we were uptown last Friday night, and just weird.
I heard they're hoping for St. Paddy's Day.
Yes, that is. But I didn't really want to commit to that. But yeah, that would be the appropriate.
Well, they're hoping for.
It would be the appropriate holiday.
It'd be great. We could start at Kingsville Brewery and then make our way around, and then come back to Kingsville Brewery after.
Oh, Mark, just open up the beer garden, Mark.
Yeah.
I wish to
Get
be
some
open
heaters
for that date.
No.
Doubling up on that one. So I have to put a cork in it?
Not so Belfast.
This is why you listen. Thank you, faithful listeners. Please don't forget to subscribe to that Kingsville podcast on all social media. But Nomad is closing. They're looking for a different location out of their storefront. Yeah, that was announced a week or so ago. Excuse me. Dutch Boy's corner location still vacant. So there's significant.
It's been a while since there's been vacancies.
Yeah, and it's
to this extent.
It's weird, right? Like, I'm not used to this Kingsville. I'm used to the constant lack of.
Are you sure you're not used to it? Like the full storefronts is kind of a new thing, right? Like,
kind of, sort of. Well, no, but after like the last 5 years, there's been
you're right. The last 5 years,
and that's with open streets and with COVID and our concentration on supporting local, you want to pay more attention to that kind of thing. So I think I'm just hyper acute to what's happening in those locations, and it's the Uptown Pharmacy moved to the new medical building, so there's vacancy in that mall in the corner, right by the cheesecake on a stick.
Well, they moved.
Yes, cheesecake on a stick.
Cheesecake on a stick.
No, I know cheesecake on a stick. I know where they are.
Yeah, but they're not out on Seacliff anymore.
No. I know they're next to
the pharmacy, and behind it moved to the medical building.
I didn't know the pharmacy moved.
Yeah,
that's what I was.
Oh. Yeah, the pharmacy.
Yeah, pharmacy moved.
So, do I if I just slightly change the topic?
Knock
just
yourself
slightly.
Out. Hey, listen, we're going.
Because I noticed today driving, and I have to say the new it's an apartment building. The new apartment building looks really nice.
It does.
I really like the way that they've done the facade. I think it looks great. It doesn't really jump out. And what I kind of thought was weird. High school. Yeah. Well, it condos. Sure. I mean, it looks like an apartment building. And when you drive by, it looks smaller than the 2-story medical building.
I think it's because of the roof line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and I do think like there might be a higher grade on that.
Possibly.
And possibly 16-foot ceilings. maybe 18.
Maybe 24. I don't know.
It seems ridiculously huge, even when there's a 3-story apartment building like within eyesight of it.
Yeah.
I thought it was the new building would make it seem smaller, and it hasn't.
Well, I think they've broken ground on the 2 6-story buildings behind the medical center, and I think when those finally start getting erected, then you're going to get that dwarfing perception of the medical center, because it's immediately to the north of that building, so you're going to get the perspective of hey, here's big, here's much bigger, right? I use the comparison that Central 33, the old Princess Center in Leamington, is a 5-story building, and that is visible very clearly throughout the whole downtown area. And then we'll have 2 buildings in very close vicinity of that medical building. So
maybe that's why they lit up the water tower, to kind of take away for
distract.
We won't notice those buildings because the water towers.
Wonder how tall the water tower is in comparison to a 6-story building. Because you're right, you can see that water tower from. How tall do we think that water tower is? While you Google. I got some great pictures on the top of the. I call it's still the Princess Center. No matter what they change the name to, it's still going to be the Princess Center. I have some great pictures of the VI fire from the top of that Princess Center.
Wow, that'd be a good vantage point.
Yeah, and when it was like going up.
A typical water tower is 165 feet or 50 meters tall. The tank may hold 1 billion gallons of water or more. The big pipe, called a riser, that connects the water main to the ground up into the tank. That's from Wikipedia.
With the Kingsville water tower?
I don't know. This is what the Google tells me.
Type in Kingsville water tower. I bet you that's probably on the Union Water website. Does the Union Water have a website? Probably.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because they used to post their
minutes and
their agendas.
Oh, everything. Yeah.
They're very important.
Yes,
very important group.
Yes.
Holy.
It's just
riveting.
Oh my gosh.
Gushing with news.
It's got its own webpage. But it does not have that information.
Of course. Why would you include how tall it is?
it's got a picture of the old logo too. Like it's
they haven't updated it.
No.
Oh.
What was the old town slogan? I don't.
Port of Appeal.
Port of Appeal.
That one.
Port of Appeal, really?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's way better than Kingsville on the Lake. At least that doesn't sound like it was ripped off like the town that they wish they were.
You're threatening our heritage, our Elizabethan
we're
heritage.
on the lake.
Yeah.
Oh boy, we've just kind of come full circle, haven't we? Well,
how about that budget?
Yeah, how about that budget? Hey, passed. Oh.
Hey, did anything was there council?
No, not yet. And it's next week. So we're in one of those lull weeks, unfortunately. There's lots to do.
What do you? So we didn't talk about this beforehand. So if no one wants to talk about this, then just tell me I'm wrong. So the Super Bowl is coming up.
Never heard of it.
Sorry. Move on.
Yes, that fantastic
Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
So I'll be honest, I was honestly thinking about getting a Rams.
Oh, you're not that big of a bandwagoner, are you?
I'm kind of happy now that like he's not tied to the Lions. I'm almost more of a Stafford fan now than I was actually a Stafford fan at any given time that he was a member of the Detroit Lions.
He went through the most hell to get to where he is today.
Now I'm just happy for the man he is.
Yeah, by 12 years of punishment, starting his career and lasting that long and ending careers of many very talented professional football players around him, only to get to this point to make it to the Super Bowl because he's on the best team in the league.
It's like Ray Bork. Like how and Dave, you can obviously speak to this, but how Ray Bork was, considered one of the great hockey players of his generation, couldn't win, goes to the Avalanche, wins the Stanley Cup his first time, and then retires.
And I have no issue with that. The thing that got me with that whole thing is that the Avalanche retired his number.
Yeah, that's stupid. I agree with you
and,
there.
And I get it. I get it. I don't even know if he lost, or did he finish the season, win the cup, and play one more?
Did he play one more?
Regardless,
we'd have to look that up too.
Yeah.
But,
you guys talk amongst yourselves. I'll Google this.
I get it. One of the greatest defensemen of all time played for your organization, won a Stanley Cup with your organization. But to retire his number.
Yeah, that's rough. I 100%.
I mean, if I'm the Avalanche and I want to honor the Nordiques, like sure, Peter Stastny, Joe Sakic, Peter Forsberg. There's a few others probably that would fall under the.
But that's probably it.
Patrick Waugh,
Tugnut.
I was just. It's funny you say Ron Tugnut.
He's a good Peter
Mario Marois, but no, that seemed a little bit of a stretch. But there's been other players too.
1.5 seasons with the Colorado Avalanche.
I thought it was, yeah. But there have been other players who've done that too. I mean, look at Luc Robitaille. Luc Robitaille did it, spent all those years in LA, couldn't win, goes to Detroit on that loaded 2002 team. Yeah. I think there's about 9 players in the Hall of Fame now from that team. There could be a couple more going in. He did that. You can make a case in a way that, and I think Robitaille played 2 seasons with the Wings, but Brett Hull in a similar fashion. This was
Patrick Marleau tried to do it.
Yeah. I think that team was about 2 or 3 years predating the salary cap era.
Yeah.
Because they were able to just spend.
I think everybody's acutely aware of Matt Stafford's plight because it's the home team, right? We're all Lions fans, whether you like it or not, right? It's the hometown town. And he was the guy through thick and thin, through injuries. You watched him, you cheered for him when it was Calvin Johnson and, 5,000 yard season. And never, ever would there ever be any satisfaction of a playoff win. Even though every win during the season was, hard fought and winning seasons with Caldwell and then.
So how many?
Well, sorry, if I can just. So here's how I look at the Stafford situation, because I can't decide if I really want him to win or part of me wants him to lose.
You're heartless.
No, well, here's the thing. If I look at it as a fan of the player,
I know where you're going.
I'm kind of like, I really don't want you to win, Matt Stafford, because I love the Lions. I wanted you to win as a Lion. I'm going to have a bit of a hard time seeing you win. If I look at his Matthew Stafford, the man, and what he did, he never, ever badmouthed Detroit.
Yep.
He never badmouthed the team. He never turned around and said, hey, what a horrible city to play in or anything like that. He has always been a professional. He has donated, like he spent time with, as a lot of players do, but he spent time with what's the term I'm looking for?
He was
charitable
in
organizations.
Sure, let's do
well,
that.
he was
But
in the children's hospitals
Right.
over there a lot.
And he's committed however much money over a certain number of years to help people. I want that Matthew Stafford to win the Super Bowl, if I look at it from that point of view. And I get it. I'm sort of on the fence here. I fully admit it. And I don't really know. I guess at the end of the day is if come Sunday evening, if Matthew Stafford's a Super Bowl champion, I'm happy for him. If he's not, I'm a little bit sad for him. But hey, his career's not over.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Now I'm not a Lions fan. I'm a casual football fan. But do you think that Stafford winning the Super Bowl on his first year out of Detroit in any way is putting down the Fords? Because I honestly think it really does, because it pinpoints all of their ineptitude.
No, but that one moment doesn't pinpoint the ineptitude. You can look at the mistakes that have been made over the years, the hires, the fires, the players who have.
But it's the sign. It's the stat. It's the stat that everyone will use forever. It'll be the Matthew Stafford 1 Super Bowl, Detroit 0 Super Bowls. I get it. And that's you know what? Anyone who's anti-Detroit and anti-Lions, that's a narrative they're going to pump for sure. But it doesn't, I don't think it's accurate. And I don't think it should be that way. Okay.
I get it. But you know what? Detroit, it's easy to put Detroit down if you're not from Detroit.
Right. They're always the whipping post of the entire league, right? They're the proverbial losers.
Right. What I will say too is watching games this season, you know, the number of people that have actually, I don't want to say on the bandwagon, but have pointed that, hey, maybe they are finally going in the right direction. Because, you know, there's always this debate about, oh, well, do they tank for the first overall pick? And I hate that. Like, find there's talent across many levels. Like, you need 22 players, 11 on the offense, 11 on the defense, plus your special teams player. One guy can have a big impact, sure. But one guy isn't going to win you a Super Bowl in that instance, unless you're Tom Brady and go to Tampa. And no. But they already had a lot of pieces in place.
But that's the beauty of sport, right? It can be all on one person's shoulders, or it can be an entire team effort. Because you look at former Super Bowl winners like the Baltimore Ravens.
Joe Flacco.
Who did never deserve to win a Super Bowl. But he won one because of the defense and their dominance within the league, right? Eli Manning, arguably not a great quarterback. He's got 2.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
because of the team that was around him.
Oh, who won with
the
Philly?
catch.
Who won with Philly?
Oh, the
Carson.
catch.
Was it Carson
No,
Wentz or was
it
the
wasn't
other
Wentz.
guy?
It was
He was injured.
Oh.
Was it? Or was Wentz? Wentz was the guy that's at Indy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so it's the other guy.
I keep thinking current is like Jalen Hurts is now. Oh,
anyway,
man. That's gonna kill me.
Catch.
Yeah, like but that's the beauty of the sport.
Yeah.
That's why we all watch the Super Bowl. That's why we all eat chicken wings and burgers and pig out.
Foles.
Yes,
Nick
Nick
Foles.
Foles.
Thank
Nick
you.
Foles. Yeah, made his career off of that. Good brain on you. Golly.
Thanks.
Well done.
Well, that's going to cap off the weekend. So, I'm curious if my squares, I buy squares because I'm a degenerate gambler.
Right.
So I'm going to win, money that way. It's guaranteed, even though the way squares work, you don't know what your squares are until all the squares are purchased. And then,
Well, are you going to bet on the chance we see a Tupac hologram during the halftime? They have to play California Love,
they
right?
have to. They have to because they didn't relocate the Super Bowl, right? There was a rumor that because of the Californian mask mandate, the NFL was going to move it to Las Vegas, but that didn't happen. So everybody's staying in California. They're enforcing the masking when you're sitting and not eating slowly. You cannot eat slowly at the Super Bowl. You must eat rapidly. That's the language.
It's the only way I eat.
Like jailhouse eating. Get
just
fast
jam it
before anybody gets it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. I picked the Rams when we did the predictions a few weeks ago. So
you did.
Because I like the defense.
It can't be the Bengals. It can't be the Bengals.
Yeah, it can be. It can be. It sure can be. That's young talent. That's run and gun. It'll be interesting. Next time we convene here on That Kingsville Podcast, we can go back and look back at it and bore the crap out of all 13 listeners that all 12 of them joined us for.
And we can talk about how many times Eminem swore.
Come on. After the Janet Jackson, Justin Timberlake thing, that thing's on like a 90-second delay. There's no way that's going live to air. No way.
No.
Yeah. But here on the podcast, everything is edited according to whatever Gary decides. So, well, thanks for, putting up with us. We're sorry we couldn't deliver you the show that we intended, but that's what you get on That Kingsville Podcast. Thanks for joining us tonight, and we'll see you again next time.